Hey, Mitchell of mitchellkphotos here. Today I'm going to share with you one very important travel photography tip. While it may be incredibly simple, it's actually one of the first things that you should already be doing to ensure that you're getting great photos.
The tip is about not being a photo sniper. You'll see in just a bit what that means.
By the way, in case you're wondering where I am, as you can see, I'm in a beautiful mountain valley. And it's just outside of a little village called 𝗧𝗪 in the country of Georgia. Now let me show you something. That there is my car and my mobile home. It's also my office. Over a period of a few years, I'll be driving it to Mongolia.
That's a long trip, and the aim of it is really the journey. Along the way, I'm taking this mobile home and office to some beautiful places, to have some peace, quiet, and inspiration. And these places are great for some photo editing and writing. This is what my workspace looks like. A couch/bed and my laptop. I was actually doing some editing of my recent photos here, and that's when I came up with the idea of sharing this tip with you.
Inside the mobile office now with my laptop, and I should explain what I mean by not being a photo sniper. Let me show you by using 3 of my recent photographs as examples.
You're seeing 3 photographs that I chose from 3 separate shoots. However, along with this image, there are all these ones. I shot them before and after the chosen image. Or you could say I shot them around the image that I ultimately chose. Again, this is the final, the chosen image, and these are the images around it. Same thing here. The image that I think works best, and the other images from the shoot.
So what's the common theme?
Here's the contact sheet of the frames that I shot to get this final photo. There are 32 photos, and there were even more. I've deleted some. I shot at least 35 frames to get to this image, and at least 24 to get to this one.
The common theme is that to get that one photo that really works for me, I don't stop at 1 or 2 or even 3 frames. I shoot quite many photographs.
And this is what I mean by not being a photo sniper. This way, I increase my chances of getting something special. So I just don't obsess with this idea of getting the shot in the fewest number of attempts.
There are some people who seem to have some kind of an ideological issue with this approach. Oh, but if you just point and keep on shooting, of course you'll end up with something good. Yeah, that'd be awesome, but that's really not the case.
Let's have a closer look at those other images, which I didn't choose. I didn't just point randomly and keep shooting. I didn't spray and pray,
as in spray with a camera like with a machine gun and pray that one of the images actually works.
When I photograph, there's an idea, intent, a purpose behind all my actions. Here, I wanted a portrait of the man. He's a carpenter, and initially I tried photographing him in front of his work. Then I decided that this way the composition is a bit messy. I walked away, got him more into the fog. The fog made the background fade. The composition became less messy and less distracting. As I'm shooting, I'm waiting for expressions, perhaps for some sort of gesture, adjusting the perspective a little. I do like these variations of the photo. The man at a distance, slightly fading into the fog, but I ultimately decided that I wanted to show his face. After all, it was so full of character. Things were happening fast. Also, he wanted to control the shoot a bit in how he presented himself. I wanted something more genuine, so I kept shooting while he was talking to me. He was aware of me, but we kept conversing, and this made it harder for him to put in an act for the camera. This is the final image I chose. However, I shot more, and I feel that some of the images that followed, they work too. In this case, I initially wanted to capture the horse and the boy in this mountainous landscape, but the boy left and it started to rain. I got inside my car ready to drive off. Then I thought, wait, this scene could look interesting with a layer of raindrops in the foreground on the window and the horse in the distance. At first here, to make the raindrops visible, I closed the aperture all the way to f20. At f20, the raindrops were just too in focus, too distracting. So I tried different aperture settings. At f4, the raindrops weren't in focus enough. I changed the aperture to f8 and eventually to f10. That's what I stuck with. A hint of the raindrops here, but they don't dominate the composition. Eventually, I decided to use the frame of the car window in my composition. I like the effect of peering through the window into this other world. It adds a certain feel, creates a certain ambience. With a few shots, I firmly decide that this is the framing I want, and I'm now trying to catch the moment that works. Of course, often during the shoot, I may not know right away what that exact moment is. I generally decide later. That's even more of a reason not to settle on just a couple of frames. I try to capture as many nuances as possible. As with the previous case, I kept shooting, exploring. There's no window frame in the final few images. I just wanted to see again how that'll feel. But after having a look at all the images later, I decided that the frame does add a lot to the photograph. The last photo we'll analyze. This one was shot with a drone, so pretty much limitless possibilities in terms of angles. Right away, I knew that light and shadow would play an important role here. I shot less frames in this situation than in the previous two. Why? Because this is a static subject. I'm exploring light, different perspectives, but there aren't any nuances as far as a moment to look out for. You see slight variations. I'm going higher, at an angle, closer, closer, wider again, changing the angle, closer again. I was actually trying to see how much of that mountain in the background I could make visible. Then I thought, why not shoot this scene from the other side? Slightly backlit, different background too, of course. And I really like these layers of mountains here. This is the image I went with. And as usual, I kept shooting. With a drone, it's really tricky to avoid really strong lens flare when shooting into the sun. I think the flare kills the photo here. Still, I experimented. Then I came back round again, focused on the deep shadows, and shot a few frames similar to what I did in the beginning, just to make sure that I got all that I needed. The key takeaway. In all of my years of photographing, I have never ever said, oh, I wish I shot less. It's always been like, I wish I spent more time, or I wish I shot more. But I hope that you have gathered by now, the key is not to simply shoot as many images as possible. It's to shoot as many images as possible with a purpose, with intent. Purpose is what will give you the best chance of getting that special shot. Of course, I didn't have this approach all the time. In my early years, I rarely shot enough and with a clear purpose in mind. As a result, I have far fewer great images from that time. Let's overview. First and foremost, don't settle on 1 or 2 or even 3 frames during a photo session. Get rid of that mindset that you need to get the photograph in as few attempts as possible. But don't spray and pray. Shoot with a purpose. Have an idea of what you want in mind. Wait for different expressions, as I did while shooting the bearded man in the fog. Explore different framings, different settings. as was the case with the horse through the window. See how the light changes from different angles, and experiment with really changing the perspective when possible, like how I did with the drone.
That's about it from me. Remember, don't try to be a photo sniper. And this isn't only a travel photography tip, it's a tip for virtually any kind of photography. Of course, with travel photography, with documentary photography, it's even more important because you may never return to a place again, or once a moment, an opportunity is gone, it's generally gone forever. So try what I've talked about yourselves, and you will see that you'll start getting more of those special photographs at the end of each shoot.
If you liked this video, please share it, press the like button, and subscribe. Oh, and of course, check out my video course. There's much more in it, and in much more detail.
Thank you for watching.